truth is something that is like a life jacket, right? You could drag it down to the bottom of the ocean floor, but sooner or later, even if it takes a long time, it's gonna find its way to the shore.
Vivica A.
Yeah.
Fox, Jussie Smollett, it's a huge honor to be talking to you. This film is called The Lost Holiday. I watched it last night and I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. Jussie, it took you 8 years. It took you 8 years to get this film made. Tell me what inspired you to climb this mountain.
Oof, my mother. You know, we've been on this promo tour for a little while. I've been able to tell this story. You know, my mother, as a Black woman in the 70s, she married into a non-Black family. And during that time, you know, we were raised in the 80s and the 90s, and it wasn't always necessarily easy for her to navigate that world. And I saw the things that she went through, and I certainly heard of the things that she went through from both her and my father, the things that she went through with his family. And to see my father passed away almost a decade ago, actually the same day that Empire first aired on television, my father passed away. And seeing the way that after he passed, although they had been separated, the way that my mother now has bonded with his mother, my grandmother, and the way that she's able to be a grandmother in a way that she possibly was not able to be a mother to him, really inspired me with the characters of Jason and Cassandra.
We have time to change it back. You know I ain't down with this whole Cassandra my ass. I told you I ain't down with this whole cremation thing.
Cassandra, it's what he wanted.
You sure about that? He didn't even know that he was gonna get shot.
We both agreed that we'd be cremated and have our ashes mixed together. But we thought that we'd be 90 years old.
And it made me want to do the work to make amends with my father from the other side, being that after he passed, there were a lot of things that were left unsaid that I didn't get a chance to say, and things that I needed or wanted to hear from him that I didn't get a chance to hear. And then then just to go further, just quickly, is, you know, I have a lot of mentors who are, you know, 60, 70 years old, and in the 80s, in the height of the AIDS pandemic, a lot of them were kind of extracted from their partner's legacies. And that's meaning a lot of gay, same gender loving men, particularly that I have encountered, were extracted or were not allowed to go into the hospital room. We're not allowed to go to the funeral because maybe the parents or the family members, you know, stepped back in and took over. Those things are what inspired me. And then, you know, we have this amazing story with Vivica. 8 years ago, I thought about this and was developing it for a while, and then brought on Jarrell Chesney to help me write it, and called up Vivica and said, listen, I cannot do this without you, because it was always her. It was always her, you know, the Bible of the film that I wrote before bringing on Jarrell to write it with me. The character of Cassandra was named Viv. But I also know that I needed her on board because I wouldn't have been able to raise the money without Viv. So,
and Vivica, I want to go to you. I mean, you define busy, booked, and blessed. Okay, you big, busy, booked, and blessed. So I imagine that there's not a loss. Come on, and I imagine there's not a loss of opportunities for work for you. So what made this a resounding yes? Was it always a resounding yes? And what was the why behind your yes?
Jussie and our family, as he explained. I mean, we've known each other since he was 8 years old. I love his family. I love him. And he actually had directed Taraji, Tasha Smith, and Alfre Woodard on an episode of Empire. So he had directed strong women. So when he hit me with this and was like, you know, family, I need you. I said, I'm there. Get it together though. And let me know when we're really ready to go. And I am there for you. And here we are. It's amazing. We've been on this journey together. Jussie, this has been his baby for 8 years, but we filmed the movie in 11 days.
Yep.
Yep. And got it done. And now here we are. We've been all over, from Atlanta to DC to New York to LA to London. And the love that, you know, this is like a really feel-good, family-friendly film with an amazing message that we don't shove down your throat. It's just like you walk away. I've got friends that went last night to the premiere in New York, and they were like, I'm still remembering moments from last night. I need to go see this one more time. And that's what you want to hear.
Yeah.
But Vivica, was it a struggle for you to play this role? Because I think about you in the real world. and you are inclusive. I mean, you were that girl, right? But your character is kind of, I call her homophobic light. Like she's diet homophobic. She ain't all the way there.
Mild
But
homophobic,
yeah,
homophobia,
she's like
exactly.
homophobic light. Was that difficult for you to channel that energy? Because that's just not you at all.
At all. You know, my whole camp is gay. So please, I mean, at least, okay?
I'm telling you.
I don't have an issue with that at all. But I did base my character off of a girlfriend from Detroit, Lisa. But Lisa doesn't have a problem with gays either. I took her mannerisms, the way she dressed, things like that. But for Cassandra, the character, I decided that it was going to be a story of discovery, rejection, acceptance, love, and then family. Literally in that order. That's the journey that I wanted to take Cassandra on, because this was something that was totally foreign. Because, you know, as African Americans or those who are in the closet, you always hear the biggest struggle. When I came out to my family,
That's me. Yeah.
that it is the hardest thing for them to do, harder than them accepting to themselves that they're gay, but to come out to their family, because there is so much phobia. You know, but when you watch The Lost Holiday, it disappears. It's not about, it's about love. It's about like letting people love who they love and still knowing that they're family, that they're still good people, that they still go through the same emotions regular people go through.
Yeah.
And people, I think that that's what I've loved more than anything else, like at the New York and all the other premieres, is watching people go on their journey with Cassandra.
Yeah.
You know, Cassandra come in like,
she's so wrong.
And Jussie, how has the process of creating this film really played a role in your personal life over the past 8 years?
I mean, you know, it certainly has been therapeutic in many ways. You know, grief is something that we all experience. If we have not yet, we will in our lifetime. You know, and it comes in such waves. You know, one moment you're crying, and then the next minute you're happy about something that's happened to you or for you, and then the next minute you're feeling guilty about being happy about those things. It can lead to you resenting your success or resenting the good things that are happening, resenting the world, that somehow the world keeps spinning when you're dealing with this deep pain of not being able to see a parent or a loved one in general. And it was very therapeutic to kind of figure out these ways and kind of get certain things off your chest, while being able to kind of, you know, truthfully, but hide behind these characters, if you will, you know, be able to say certain things that you want to say while putting it into Jason Holliday, not putting it into myself, you know, finding elements of myself to put into this character versus, you know, me having to talk about all of my pain, you know, in one full sweep. You know, I think that art is good in that way, and it helps in that way, not just the people that watch it, but also the people that create it.
Yeah. I'm a gay father. I have a 13-year-old son, my best friend.
oh, congratulations.
Congratulations. I want it so bad.
I have a 13-year-old son. He's the light of my life. But I really love that this movie, it goes there, you know, with your character being a father who adopted a child. One was two-part question. What are the tough conversations that you hope people in the Black community in particular have around acceptance and tolerance and of the LGBTQ plus community, being parents, finding love? And also, Jussie, I'm curious, do you see yourself being a father one day?
You can rest assured that if I left this earth without being a father, I would feel unfulfilled.
Yeah.
I would. I really would. I think that I love people that know what they are capable of and what they want out of their life. And regardless of whether you know that you don't want children or whether you know that you do want children, I think that that's so powerful to know, you know, and I know ever since I was a child, I've always wanted to be a father. Always. I look at my nieces and my nephew and I'm just like, oh my God, I have to work fast too, because I want my kid to grow up with them. You know, they're all growing up together, you know, as us as siblings siblings grew up, and I grew up in such a large, close, loving family, you know, and I just feel like there's so many kids, and I also want to adopt, you know, that's the way that I want to go. And so to me, there's so many beautiful kids that need homes, and I know as a fact that I would be that home for them. And I know as a fact that my family would be that family for them. So absolutely, I mean, even down to what I'm fighting right now, like I'm fighting that because I want to have a baby. I want to have kids. I want to do all of those things. And I want them to be proud of me, you know? So everything I do right now is for my future kid. It really is true.
Wow. Vivica, I want to go to you because I was on your IMDb page last night, and I was like, I said it earlier, you stay busy, booked, and blessed. What a gig. But I was looking at all the work that you've done in the past 15 years, and I was like, okay, carry to 1, you know, add to 7. I'm like it's fame, it's fortune, and it's impact of the work that your impact of your work does for your fans. But at this stage of your career, where do you rank those things? Because I've never seen someone work as much, and your career spans from my childhood. You know, I went to go see you in Independence Day. I was maybe 10 or 9 years old, and you consistently stay working with multiple projects each year, directing, producing, and acting. Where do you rank your why behind the work that you choose to do in general? Is it money?
No, I'm good. It's, I love what I do. I love what I do. And I am grateful because, you know, there was a time in Hollywood that once women turned 40 years old, they were put out to pasture. Like they had no more value. They had nothing to offer. They were no longer sexy. No one cared about them. And I'm just so glad to be in the era of seeing powerful women, Sandra Rhimes, have their own studios, to see women, Ava DuVernay, to see women in their 50s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, and 70s still be huge contributing factors to Hollywood, whether in front of the camera or behind the camera. So it's been a long time coming that people that are seeing that women who are more mature are still valuable, are still beautiful, are still sexy. I just turned 60.
Yes.
Okay.
Because you are the finest of wines, Miss Fox.
You are.
Okay.
But can I ask you though, Vivica, because I think that you really are a unicorn in that regards, because you are Vivica. Your last name is Fox for a reason. You are a Fox at 60 years old. Is it easy? Is Hollywood writing roles for women like you to be fully realized, to be 60 and sexy and Black?
Well, I don't have to wait on Hollywood. I got my nephew.
Okay. I got you. Here's the thing that you
were literally doing interviews, and I walked in and he goes, you know what? See, the owner of the station, have you played that role yet? I said, nephew, write it. He said, done.
I just feel that, you know, it's so interesting because this is one of the one things that we haven't been able to tap into when we've been on this promo tour. Nobody's actually asked. I don't know if they've asked Vivica about this in like an interview that I haven't been a part of, but I haven't been a part of any. You have to realize also that when I look at Vivica, and I haven't had a chance to say this, I am very inspired by the way that Vivica knows how to take her power and use it for the benefit of not just her, but the benefit for other people. And the way that she knows how to pivot, the way that she knows how to never stay the same. This woman never stays the same. She makes sure that she always knows how she's got something else happening so that she does not have to be kind of
stereotype.
Not only stereotype, but also be kind of at the mercy of the Hollywood studio system. You know, that she goes out there and she creates her own moments so that it's not so that there are more opportunities for everybody. And that's such an inspiration to me, because sometimes in this life, sometimes in this career, this industry that we've chosen to be a part of, that we're so blessed to be a part of, you know, you got to know how to pivot. You got to know how to keep on moving so that you don't stay the same. And I've heard her say that so many times. Heard her say that to young female actresses. I've heard her say that to me, you know, that it's like, it's okay to move on to the next chapter, move on to the next thing, and don't try to stay in one place. Instead, expand, grow, make sure that you're growing your business, you're growing your brand so that you don't have to stay the same. And that's exactly what I'm trying to do. But that's a huge inspiration, is Vivica A. Fox.
That's come with maturity, FYI.
Sure, absolutely.
Maturity, it really has. You know, I had no idea at this stage of my career that I would have so many amazing opportunities, and I'm grateful. I really am, that people trust the brand of Vivica Fox to star in a movie, to, you know, be a spokeswoman, to have the brand is just growing, and I'm just really grateful, but I do the work. You can ask Jussie. Whenever his ass would hear, nephew.
Wow.
Chris, that's so real though. Like, I keep saying this. When she calls, here's the thing. When she says, hey, nephew, or I love you, nephew, yeah, that's all love. But when she says, nephew, when it's nephew, okay, I know that's her, like my mama calling me my government name.
Yeah.
But Jussie, I'm so curious, when did you first sort of fall for Vivica as a talent? Like, I think about myself.
Out All Night, baby. Out All Night.
Okay.
Played Patti LaBelle's daughter.
Yes.
Played Patti LaBelle's daughter on Out All Night with Morris
Great.
Chestnut and Dwayne Martin, and my little sister Journey guest starred on that show with Taj Mowry. This is how crazy, like, all of these amazing artists were in one show. That to me was still to this day one of the best shows that ever existed, and it only lasted for one season.
Oh my God, that's what that show.
But it was way ahead of its time, right?
Yeah.
And I met her, and I was like, she is not only one of the most beautiful human beings I've ever laid my eyes on, but she also, again, she had such fire. Like, she was just fire. And then I saw her in Independence Day, and I was like, yeah. We all were like,
String worked for everybody.
It worked for Vivica. Vivica, it worked for everybody, including Chris and my ass, okay?
Yeah,
I already know.
And the hair toss. And the hair toss.
And the hair toss.
There's a lot more, but
here's the thing. That was also around the time that I remember that Demi Moore was doing striptease. Loved Demi Moore. She was amazing. But I remember us black folks, we was like, baby, it's Vivica A. Fox, baby, on the phone, baby. We love Demi Moore. Vivica A. Fox. It was just so, again, she's always done dope shit. Excuse my language. Like, she's always been legendary. And that's the thing. We didn't just want to, and I've said this before, we didn't just want to create a movie that Vivica A. Fox was in. We wanted to create a Vivica A. Fox movie. We wanted to create a film that could stand and sit with her filmography, which is insane to me. Set It Off, Why Do Fools Fall in Love, Two Can Play That Game, Kill Bill, Independence Day, Batman. Like, she is insane for the things that she has done, you know? And so we wanted to make a film that, above all, our mission, myself, and particularly myself and Jody, who is one of our executive producers, but also my DP, who worked on us, directed, like, I directed the episode of Empire with Viv in it, and he was the DP on it. So we know how Viv works. We know how we know her work ethic. Exactly. And all we wanted to do is make sure that Vivica was happy. And if she was happy, we succeeded. That was it. But there was such a love for her. You know, all of us grew up with crushes on Vivica A. Fox. I don't give a damn who we in love with now.
No, it blows my mind. It blows my mind, the rooms you've been in, the people that you've worked with. In this movie, The Lost Holiday is about redemption, about forgiveness. And as I was scrolling through your IMDb last night, I said, ooh, you were in a video with Puff Daddy, Been Around the World, Vivica Fox, and you played his wife.
Yes, I did.
Home in Mount Vernon. I didn't even remember this. It slipped my mind. And I gotta ask you, like, what are you feeling right now? And how do you make sense of this chapter in Diddy's story, in the charges he's facing?
Well, you know, I personally can't answer on how this chapter is going to unfold for him. He's my friend. And y'all know me, I'm loyal. And I will always have love for him. I feel for his family. But it's not up for me to place judgment. But I wish him well.
Yeah. Very well said.
I do. Yeah.
It's tough. I think it's a tough conversation to have. It's the conversation everyone has, you know, in every room that you're in, you know. But it's thank you for answering that. And Jussie, if you write your memoir, what would you call this chapter with this film?
Joy. That's
Okay.
what I would call it. I would call it joy. You know, we have been, you know, anybody that has not lived under a rock, you know, we've been through some things. And so
Yeah.
to be here with the support of Vivica, the support of Mona Scott Young, the support of Tressa Smallwood, and the entire cast and crew has been something that, you know, I don't take lightly. I understand that through this process of promoting the film, you know, I'm not an actor. I'm not I'm not a celebrity that's like, oh, you know, don't ask me this. I'm a big boy and I'm a businessman. I understand why people would ask about it. But with that said, I've stood by the truth the entire time. I've never switched up. I've never changed my story, even though other people had. And I'm just very grateful that I think that the world is healing itself. I do. And I think that truth is something that is like a life jacket, right? You could drag it down to the bottom of the ocean floor, but sooner or later, even if it takes a long time, it's gonna find its way to the shore. Yeah. So I think that with that said, I pray that people look at the work. I pray that, you know, I stand by what I've always said, but again, that's neither here nor there. If anybody doesn't believe me or does believe me, that's fine either way. But what I know for sure is that the work that we've created can bring people together. And I think that in this day and age where we've been so used to talking at each other and we don't talk to each other. And I think that that's why there's so much miscommunication in the world and so much misunderstanding and, you know, false narratives and misinformation, because we're so easily persuaded because we're actually not taking the time to know each other. And I think that with this, we show that we're so much more alike than not. And for that's the reason why we do what we do, and anything else is just noise.
Yeah.
Vivica's famous words. He good.
He good.
I mean, at the end of the day, I was never going to ask you a messy question.
I believe you, brother.
The only thing that I was, you know, and you answered it. The question I wanted to really just hit on was that this film is beautiful. It's art. It's art. It's well done. And I just wanted to hear, what would you say to audiences that want to support you but feel like they might have lost faith?
Well, I think that's, you know, here's the thing, Chris. When I take my emotions, because I have a lot of emotions, I'm also Cancer. I have a lot of emotions about this whole situation, but also about just life in general. I'm a very passionate person. I'm a very sensitive person. But I'm also a strong person, and I'm a person of integrity. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, for the people, when I take my emotions out of it, and I even dare I say take my ego out of it, I understand why people feel the way that they do based on the narrative that was spun and the way that it was served to them. But at the same time, truth will come to light. Truth will always come to light. But until that time, I'm going to keep on working. I'm going to keep on loving, and I'm going to keep on spreading joy and love as much as I possibly can. And it'll affect the people that it's meant to affect. And God and the universe and my ancestors are working overtime for me. I know that for sure. So anything else, again, it's okay. You know, I'm at peace. I'm at a place where peace is the only thing that I want. Harmony is the only thing that I want. I don't want to partake in anything that's divisive. I don't want to partake in anything that has some ulterior motive. I don't want to be a part of that. I just want to create and love and laugh and cry sometimes and fight the injustices of the world. Anything else, I'm like Vivica says, I'm good.
Yes. Well, y'all, I'm good. Thank you so much for this interview. Thank you both for your work. I really genuinely both admire you, and I'm honored to finally meet you, Jussie.
Thank you, same here. I hope to meet you in person, man.
Yeah. Please.
And that's awesome about you having a kid. I love that so much. I love hearing that. That's so special to me and so inspiring.
I'm gonna have him watch this movie, so get ready for his feedback.
Because it's a movie that all people can watch. It truly is a family. There's a reason why, and it's so interesting because even down to the poster, I originally put, you know, B-Boy Blues, I put a love story. Right. And under the Lost Holiday, originally I put a family story, and it was Mona who came in and said, I want you to change that to a family love story, because that's exactly what this is. And it is a family love story. And I hope that everybody goes and checks it out and feels the love.
Okay. All right, you all. I'll stay tuned for the Vivica A. Fox talk show. I'm still waiting on that.
Listen.
Tell BJ to get on that.